about to leave. Already packing, come with me. I'm not really.
Hello friends and enemies, welcome back to Happy For Now. It's time for a recommendation video. I'm so excited for this one. So I recently went on a little bit of a deep dive on this trope, not like super deep, but I read quite a few in a row because I was just really enjoying it, and I'm probably gonna keep reading them after this video. So part 2 sooner than later maybe, we'll see. But I wanted to talk about one of my favorite tropes, which is brother's best friend. I feel like this is like a beloved trope in general in the romance community. I feel like a lot of us have siblings. A lot of us had maybe older brothers with hot friends. Who knows? Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But this was such a fun one to do a little dive on in the last couple weeks. And I'm wrecking some old favorites as well. I don't think I've done this recommendation video before. Like, I don't think I've wrecked brother's best friend, which surprised me. Because yeah, like I said, I love this trope. It's so fun. I love the like slight taboo forbiddenness of it, but it has to be executed in a way that it's not just like, you can't touch my sister. There has to be like some kind of balance there. And I do not mind when it's like the little sister has like childhood pining towards the brother's friend, but it can't be like this like ongoing situation, although we do have one exception to the rule in this one. But let's get right to it and let's talk about my favorite brother's best friend romances. First we have Guarding Temptation by Talia Hibbert. This is such a fun one. So this follows a girl who is a news reporter type person, like an online journalist, and she is getting death threats, and her brother's best friend offers to help her and protect her. So she kind of moves in with him, and they had like an almost hookup one night stand previously and it didn't go great. And this is like their second attempt situation that happens, and it goes wonderfully. I really enjoyed this. This is just a quick novella. It's like just over 100 pages. If you just want that quick hit of like brother's best friend with a little bit of bodyguard mixed in, this is it. Absolutely it. And then we have To Love Jasonthorne by Ella Mays, who I'm currently like doing a little marathon of. I literally am on the last book of her backlist that I need to read, and wow. I didn't love the first book I read from her, and these are all like not the first ones I read from her, and I'm loving all of these so much. So we have To Love Jasonthorne, which follows Jasonthorne, who is a not well-behaved movie star celebrity type, and his best friend's little sister Olive is a writer. She had a book that got optioned, and he's going to star in the movie, and he's like helping her figure all that out and how it works, kind of guiding her. And he needs to salvage his image, so they have an arranged marriage. A little marriage of convenience, if you will, and things go a lot of places with this one. I really liked this one. It had a nice mix of flashbacks to when they were kids, and he would call her of the same pet name he calls her now, which is Little One. And then, you know, she would talk about how much she had a crush on him and all these things. It was very cute. It didn't feel like she was like living her life on edge waiting for him though, kind of pining. It just was like, this was her dream if it could ever happen. And yeah, so they move in together, and it just turns into a whole thing, and it's so cute. We do have the third act breakup, which is more when the brother stuff comes into play, and I didn't hate how it was executed overall. I think he could have groveled a little more, but I've got one that I loved the grovel in way more on this list. But yeah, I really liked this one. This is also on Kindle Unlimited, and the audio is on Hoopla and probably also on Scribd. Next we have Pretending He's Mine by Mia Sosa. I read this a while ago and I loved it. It's such a cute book. It is part of a series, but you can read this one on its own. This follows Julian, who is a Hollywood agent, and he represents his best friend. And the little sister has been kind of starring in his wildest fantasies, but he knows she's off limit, but then she shows up on his doorstep and needs a place to crash. So he lets her crash with him, and we go from there. It is really good. I love, like, we know I don't love celebrity books, but like I liked Jasonthorne a lot, and I liked this one because it felt adjacent to celebrity and stardom, which is again not always my favorite thing, because I just think like in my mind, like that's my worst nightmare. I would never want paparazzi following me. Like that is my worst nightmare. So there she ends up crashing with him, and then he goes home with her, and they fake date while they're home, and of course it leads to more. And I just really loved this one. It was so stinking cute. I highly recommend this if you haven't checked it out. And if you liked Mia Sosa's other book, oh my gosh, why can't my brain, you know, the one last year. This one, I'm gonna put the cover up. I think you would really like this one as well. I think it has similar vibes in a way. It's not as like rom-com-y, but I do think her writing like carries through all of the books as like a steady constant. Next, we have Her Halloween Treat by Tiffany Reese, which anytime I get a chance to wreck these Blaze Harlequins by Tiffany Reese, I'm going to be wrecking them because I can't. I love them. These are like bite-sized novellas, kind of. They're not quite a novella. They're, I think, a little longer. No, they are. Okay, never mind. This one is set around Halloween time, and her brother's best friend shows up at the cabin to do some handyman work, and turns out he got real hot since she left town, and things go from there. It's a blast. Honestly, Tiffany Reese writes such good smut, and the Blaze Harlequins are much smuttier and dirtier than your typical, even than a Harlequin Desire. Like they're further on the heat scale. So yeah, I love this one. I think it's such a cute little Halloween setting. It's a fun environment, autumn, fall. I mean, it's hot here, so I'm not gonna complain about living a little in somewhere that's a little cooler for a little bit in my mind. So yeah, highly recommend Her Halloween Treat by Tiffany Reese. I think that it's a good way also to try out a Harlequin if you haven't before. And if you like this one, there's 2 others in this series following the holidays as well. You really can't go wrong. Yeah, this features a little bit of a cinnamon roll hero as well, and definitely just them having a lot of fun and her getting her rebound on and more. And then we have the book that kept me up all night that had to go on this list. Didn't think it was going on this list, but here we are. It is on the list, and that is Twisted Love by Anna Huang. This is on Kindle Unlimited. I got wrecked this through TikTok. Wow. So this is definitely going to be your darker of all the picks I have here. This features Brother's Best Friend, but it is dark. Not super dark. I would, if we had a 1 through 5 scale, it's on like a 2 or a 3. Does he maybe do bad things? Yes. Is he also a hero that would burn the world down for her? Yes. So yeah, this follows Ava and Alex. So Alex is her brother's best friend. He's about 4 years older than her. He runs like this huge corporation. He's like the COO or something. But if he wants it, he'll be the CEO, etc. Anyways, he runs this corporation. He's seeking revenge on whoever killed his parents. That does happen. And his best friend Josh goes out of the country for the year, and he wants him to take care of his little sister Ava, who is like 22, and he just wants to be sure like she doesn't get into any trouble. And we open really strong with him like rescuing her because she can't get an Uber to get to her brother's going away party because like she got stranded somewhere weird. Anyways, he pulls up, he rescues her, he's like fussing at her of course, and is like very broody, quiet, and we just kind of go from there. And it's just her like being super sunshine, and he is super grumpy and just pecking away at his shell, and I love it. It is so good. It is so freaking good. He moves in next door to make sure he can keep an eye on her and make sure she's not into any trouble, because of course, you know, there's a whole thing. And there's a great friend group happening here. I really loved the friend group in this book as well. And I think the next book is about one of her friends and her bodyguard, which I'm very excited for. Anyways, I literally stayed up until 3 a.m. and almost finished this book last night. It took me a while to finish it off this morning because I was so tired, but if I didn't have to get up this morning, I would have stayed up all night and finished it. It was so good. I couldn't put it down. I was just wildly engaged, which is exactly what I want when I read a dark romance. Usually I want a book that carries me fully through the story. I will say I didn't love the 3rd act breakup, but it did give me a grovel I really enjoyed. Though it is not a grovel you necessarily would want in real life, it worked for me really well as far as how he showed that he cared and that he knew he messed up and wanted to support her. This is full of like reveals and twists and turns. One of the reveals I didn't expect, and then the other reveal I saw coming from like a mile away. Take that as you will. I'm not gonna tell you what they were because I don't want to ruin it, but these definitely have that little twisty turny. You know, her brother definitely does not want them to be together. He is a little on the kinkier side, not super kinky, but like we've definitely got some like breath play and like light domination happening in this book, I would say. A lot of dirty talk. It was smoking hot. I really liked this book. I highly recommend it if you want a darker, dirtier brother's best friend situation to read. But those are my brother's best friend recommendations. Let me know your favorite brother's best friend so I can go check it out, because I'm not joking. This is like all I want to read right now. And if you don't want to do that, drop a angry face emoji in the comments for me, because you know that brother is, because he knows how bad his best friend can be. You can find links to all these books in that description box if you want to check them out. You can also find links to Be My Friend anywhere on the internet down there, and I will see y'all in just a few days. Bye.
Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know.